Just when you think things can't get any stranger in the Catholic Church, we have the following news initially that in the Diocese of Piacenza, Bobbio, a villa that is dedicated to the diocesan work for the preservation of the faith has been rented out for 3 days, and I'll show you some videos here, to the well, what's it called? It's a Witchcraft Academy. So it's a Witchcraft Academy of during Halloween, 31st of October to the 2nd of November. And where you'll be able to learn divination, tarot cards, fortune telling, enchantments and potions, and etc., etc. So now, on their website, it looks very Harry Potter-esque, and you could just say, oh, look, they're just play acting. It's just, well, they have adult courses of witchcraft, not just children's courses, and 380 euros to 320 euros. Look, I don't know what is going through the minds of whoever runs that villa that is named the diocesan. It's called La Bellotta, and it's the diocesan work for the preservation of the faith. I don't know what's going through their minds by renting out the villa for this Witchcraft Academy during Halloween. But the optics here aren't looking good, and Italians are up in arms and have started a petition so that the bishop gets this event cancelled. Now, how it even got organised is going to be a fascinating story. How do we get there? How do we arrive to these events in Catholic churches, like chickens dancing in the air in Germany and devil-horned people covered in red paint on the sanctuary in Vienna's cathedral with the cardinal present and something, and rainbow flags and rainbow parades marching through St. Peter's through the Holy Door, and blankets placed on the gardens in the Vatican with Pachamama statues on them, and this and all at the same time we're doubling down on the persecution of the traditional Latin Mass. Got to get rid of that traditional Latin Mass. I mean, I'm not a die-hard traditional Latin Mass person. I'm just looking at this whole politics in the church. On the one hand, we permit utter nonsense, guys. Nonsense in the church. We permit utter nonsense. That you would allow a Witchcraft Academy in a Catholic-owned structure called the Diocesan Work for the Preservation of the Faith. And then we're wondering, how can we engage Catholics? How come the majority of Catholics in the West no longer worship and go to Mass? How can we resolve the crisis in the church? Well, the first thing to get resolving the crisis in the church is get back to doing basics. Get back to basics. Clean up your seminaries. Clean up your churches. This is just the latest incident. I suppose it's in Italian media. And of course, I'm going to echo it because, what's not voiced gets permitted again and again. It wouldn't surprise me in 50 years you'll have swinging events in some of these places. And you would say, no, Robert, that'll never happen. What are you talking about? Swinging clubs in church properties. No. That'll never happened. Well, 50 years ago, if I said, look, in 50 years' time, you're going to have a blanket on the garden in the Vatican and they'd be bowing down worshipping a statue that's not Our Lady. And even if it was Our Lady, we don't worship statues in that way. If I'd have said 50 years ago that we would have had through the Holy Door the Rainbow Parade, nobody would have believed me. Nobody. If I would have said 50 years ago that there will be a synodal process, and during that process they will discuss things that go contrary to the deposit of the faith, revealed the revealed deposit of faith, people wouldn't believe. But look, this came to pass. And in 50 years' time, what will we have permitted in church structures? Like really, where are we going? In some dioceses, there is a diocese in Ireland that allows in their Catholic structure the distribution of anti-contraceptive condoms and other stuff. That is, I've called it out again. Like, we need to get back to being serious. And let me put this in perspective with you guys. If in that villa, right, that Catholic villa, La Bellotta, in the Diocese of Piacenza, Bobbio, and there's a connection here to Ireland, because us Irish understand the significance of Bobbio. And if you don't understand the significance of Bobbio in Italy and its connection to Ireland, I'll do a video. Let me know in the comments. So there is a connection here with Ireland. But imagine in that villa, they gave it over for a 3-day retreat with the SSPX, with traditional Latin Mass in the work, right? Imagine just hypothetically, right? And you had the villa given over, and you had traditional Latin Mass in there. They would have more persecution because of that from inside the church than giving it over to be used for witchcraft academy and lessons. Jesus get us here. There is more persecution in the church to those that love the traditional Latin Mass than to those that support all this utter nonsense that we see in the church. Again, we didn't arrive to what we see happening in the church from one day to the next. It was so slowly lobby until we arrive to where we are. Look, maybe there's some innocent explanation to this. Again, there's a petition being started on this. Maybe there's some innocent. Maybe somebody who allowed this didn't realize, they're going to have tarot card readings and incantations and fortune telling and divination. Maybe they didn't realize what this event is, but now that they do realize it, they have to cancel it. You have to stand for what you know is true. You have to stand for something, otherwise you stand for nothing. The church needs to get back to the basics of the faith here, guys. More Catholics in Italy practice occult practices than go to Mass. More Catholics in Italy practice yoga and all this utter nonsense than go to Mass. Some seminaries are full of utter nonsense. Some priests promoting utter nonsense in Italy. And no wonder you have thousands now behind Don Milutella, who I don't support. I don't think his movement is the correct way. But can't Italian bishops and the Italian church and the church in general not see your own goal here and the nonsense that you allow to promote? It's utterly crazy, guys. It's bonkers. The church has one mission: to prepare us for heaven, salvation of souls. Do we take this mission seriously? Or are we willing to rent our structures for what? 30 pieces of silver? Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. They have 38 rooms in this structure, a beautiful chapel. Will they be using the chapel for witchcraft courses? Or what's the story here, guys? Let's see if there's more legs to it. Anyway, this has been all over Italian media. It's been posted now, so I'm just lending my support for it, given the Irish connection to Bobbio. Maybe the bishop doesn't know what's going on in his own diocese. Well, now he does. Come on, take action. Cancel the witchcraft course in your diocesan work for the preservation of the faith and use it to preserve the faith. Maybe offer a traditional Latin Mass there the odd time. It's not going to kill Catholics. It won't kill you. It's not going to... What previous generations held sacred might revive our faith. because certainly we need to pick ourselves up here. Anyway, I'm going to share a little video here on it so that you have some of the details. If you want to sign the petition, you can do so below. I'll put a link to it. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye. So something that is doing the rounds in Italy at the moment, in Italian social media and the Catholic sphere, is this Catholic centre. It's the Diocesan Work for the Preservation of the Faith in Piacenza. It's a villa called La Bellota. And you can see here all different Catholic activities happening here in La Bellota. And there's been a petition started because the Diocesan Work for Preservation of the Faith, known as Villa La Bellota in Pontenure, has allowed courses of magic to be witchcraft and wizardry and whatever to be given there at the villa for adults and children. And so, and this is, it's kind of put out like this, potions, enchantments, divination, and everything else. Now, divination and all of this nonsense is strictly forbidden by Catholics, in case you remember. We don't read tarot cards. We don't go to fortune tellers. You're inviting in satanic practices into your life. Some of the prices here, its standard package is €380, and then you have different packages for groups and for children and etc. And you can hear the location. It's quite clear here. It's La Bellota in Pontenure, so that's one of the locations. So you go on to their Instagram. It's all to do with occult and the way of the tarot course in tarot, and potions and whatever. Look, it's all here. It's all a mudge podge of stuff here. So anyway, there's a petition. I'll share the petition below. I know it's in Italian, but if Catholics around the world could lend their support to this, because this nonsense doesn't happen out of nowhere. To be honest, I'll just translate it. No spaces for the occult is the title here in Italian. No spaces for the occult. Let me see. Let me translate this. Translate it into English. No hidden spaces, but occult in Italian means hidden. No occult spaces. The Diocesan Work for the Preservation of the Faith. I don't know why. It's ironic. The least thing that they're doing is preserving the faith. Has granted the 19th century Villa La Bellota in Pontenure for magic courses for young and old. It's incredible, don't you think? The structure was granted for 3 events, all proposed by the Malastrana company in Galarete. The first, the Academy of Timeless Witchcraft, is designed for adults, so much so that it is specified that newers must be over 18 years old. The other 2, called Timeless Magic School, are dedicated to boys aged 7 to 17, children, ragazzi, aged 7 to 17, eager to become aspiring magicians and witches. By the way, the first 2 appointments for children is scheduled from October 31st to November 2nd. This means that it is inaugurated on the day dedicated to every satanic calendars as Satan's birthday. All of this is obviously not free. It is not exactly modest costs, oscillating between €290 to €380 per capita based on various offers. There are those who do business on these things. There are lessons in spells, workshops on potions, classes in divination, exercise of magical sports to obtain the diploma of expert magician. That a building owned by the diocese is granted to organise events related to magic and witchcraft seems to be really indecent, and the result, at least, let's say, of superficiality. The first date of this little theatre is October 24th. Can you help us make a huge effort and ask altogether the Pope, the Bishop of Piacenza, to revoke the concession of the Villa La Bellota? Anyway,